Let me ask you something. What if you couldn't actually picture things in your head? What if, when someone said, imagine an apple, all you saw was, well, nothing? For some people, this is their reality. It's a condition called aphantasia. And, for the longest time, science really struggled to even prove it was real. So that's the big question, right? How do you measure something that only exists inside someone's mind?
All right, let's try a little experiment right now. If you're able to, just close your eyes for a second. I want you to really try and picture a bright, shiny red apple. Can you see it? The round shape, maybe a little brown stem, perhaps even a single green leaf still attached. Can you hold that picture in your mind? Maybe even turn it around?
Okay, so if you saw that apple, you were just using what we call your mind's eye. But here's the thing. For an estimated 1 to 3% of the population, that experience is completely different. When they try to picture that very same apple, there's just nothing. It's a void, a total absence of an image, just darkness.
This whole experience, having a mind without pictures, is exactly what we're going to dive into today. It's a condition that, for centuries, has been kind of hidden in plain sight. I mean, think about it. How do you describe the absence of something you never even knew you were supposed to have in the first place?
The official name for this is aphantasia, and it's not a disorder or anything like that. It's just a different way a human brain can be wired, the inability to consciously create images. People with aphantasia can totally remember what an apple looks like. They can describe it to you. They know all the facts about it. They just can't see it in their head.
Now, as you can probably imagine, this brings up a huge challenge for science. How on earth do you study something so intensely personal? This is what's known as the subjectivity problem. If someone tells you they see nothing, how can you be sure?
Yeah, this is really the million-dollar question for researchers. We're trying to measure a totally internal, private experience. Is it possible that people are just using language differently? Maybe what one person calls a vivid mental movie, another person just calls a vague concept.
And this really gets to the heart of that skepticism. The thing is, science relies on objective, measurable data. But for the longest time, the only data we had on aphantasia was self-reporting, just people describing their internal world. Science needed something more solid.
So what researchers were really looking for was a biological signal, a physical tell that could confirm or deny if there was a mental image, without even having to ask the person what they were seeing. They needed a direct line, a window into the brain's visual process that bypassed words entirely.
And this is where a team of scientists came up with a ridiculously clever solution, the pupil experiment. It's just a beautiful example of using the body's own automatic reactions to reveal what the mind is doing on the inside.
The solution was hiding in plain sight. It's a reflex we all have that you absolutely cannot control. When you walk into a bright room, your pupils automatically get smaller to protect your eyes? It's totally involuntary. You don't think about it, it just happens. So this led researchers to this brilliant question. Could the mere thought of light trigger that exact same uncontrollable physical reaction?
Okay, so here's how they set it up. It was pretty simple. First, they showed both groups, people who could visualize and people with aphantasia, a bunch of bright and dim shapes on a screen. And just as you'd expect, everyone's pupils constricted when they looked at the bright shapes. That gave them a baseline. But then came the real test. They took the screen away and just asked everyone to imagine those bright shapes, all while a super-sensitive camera was tracking their pupils.
This was it. This was the moment of truth. Would the act of imagination alone be powerful enough to cause a physical change in the body? Well, the results gave us that crystal clear window into the mind we were looking for.
And the difference was, well, it was staggering. For the people who could visualize, just the simple act of imagining a bright shape made their pupils physically constrict. Their bodies were reacting to a mental image as if it were actually real. But for the aphantastic group, nothing. No significant change at all. Their pupils just stayed the same.
This data gave us the first objective, physical proof. For visualizers, simply thinking about something bright created a measurable physical response. For aphantastics, it didn't. This wasn't about a difference in how people describe things. This was a physiological fingerprint revealing a fundamental difference in how their minds actually work.
So, the takeaway here is crystal clear. The experiment proved that the subjective, internal experience of seeing a mental image has an objective, measurable, physical effect on the body. It wasn't about vocabulary or being bad at descriptions. It was a real, biological difference.
And this is so much bigger than just understanding aphantasia. This was really one of the first bits of hard, physiological evidence for this specific kind of internal experience. It gives scientists what they're calling a pupillary window to actually look at consciousness itself. And it proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that what we imagine in our minds can have a direct and measurable effect on our bodies.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If our pupils can give away the secrets of our mind's eye, what other involuntary tells are there? What other secrets about our inner worlds are our bodies just waiting to tell us, if we only find the right way to ask?